Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon once again. Welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news. When it is trending enough to be brought here, please do understand that I'm not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen, also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of our beautiful country. Hey, guys, they're going to have us for breakfast, lunch, supper, dessert, snack, or anything in between. 7 South Africans have been caught in Zimbabwe, having crossed into Zimbabwe illegally. So I was looking at this, I was like, you know what? They need to arrest them and deal with them decisively, because what are you doing? Wenza ntoni sithetha kangaka ngale nto apha eMzantsi Africa. So what are you doing? So I don't want to hold you for long, guys. Please watch what the Zimbabwean Human Rights Commission is saying, and then I'll be back right at the end with my closing commentary. But 7 South Africans caught in Zimbabwe for illegally entering the country.
A development highlighting the persistent challenges of irregular migration in southern Africa. Zimbabwean authorities have detained 7 South African nationals along with 59 individuals from various other countries for allegedly entering the country illegally. The group is currently held at the Harare Remand Prison as confirmed by the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission following a recent inspection. The commission has called for their immediate deportation. This incident underscores the ongoing issue of border security and undocumented migration in the region. In response, Zimbabwe and South Africa have intensified joint border patrols, particularly along the Limpopo River, to combat illegal crossing and smuggling activities. Let's now speak to the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission, who recently visited the prison, Jesse Majomo. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. Jesse joining us live from Harare. Following your inspection that you have done and your communication to the Correctional Services Department, has there been any action that is being taken to ensure that those that are incarcerated currently are deported back to their home countries?
Yes, I would say that that is the case, but also highlight that there are from time to time people who are detained in Zimbabwe's prisons, like these 66 that we found on this day, because our Zimbabwean immigration law provides that if an immigration officer suspects that a person, for good reason, has entered the country illegally, they may arrest them, and then they will require that the prisons detain them in a remanded prison for people waiting for trial. And so they should detain them for at least 14 days while they are verifying their status. And it is our hope that they are continuing to do so that they can be released or deported while they're investigating. And it's a problem that we continue to have, because Zimbabwe has yet to create detention facilities for irregular immigrants that are not prisons, but our Immigration Act for now requires that prisons must take those particular people.
Yeah.
And we are working with the immigration authorities as well to ensure that this problem is solved once and for all.
Yeah, but with this particular cohort, was there confirmation that they will be released?
This issue is a routine issue. They do get released eventually, because prisons doesn't also want them in prisons, because they are not held in terms of the criminal law. So they don't stay there forever. It's always a cycle. There will be people because of the nature of irregular migration, I think that Africa has to address. There will be people, it happens a lot, that there are people who cross borders illegally, and they do get released. The prisons authorities also liaise as immigration with the embassies of the various countries. So there are certain countries whose embassies are very proficient about processing the deportation of their migrants. In Malawi in particular, the Malawi embassy in Zimbabwe does so a lot. It visits prisons, and then it makes sure that its nationals that are in prison and detained for immigration are processed and released. So it's a process that works between the prison service, the immigration officials, as well as the countries if they have embassies. So we are assured that this is happening, that the processing of the release of these particular immigrants is done. But like I said, they will, it's a consistent issue. These ones will come out, some more will come in, and until we will solve the immigration issue, but also create that the immigration authorities in Zimbabwe established immigration holding like stations that are not the prison, because these people should not be in prison. They are not, they are not, in terms of the law, they are not awaiting trial because they are not being charged with a criminal offense per se, but they've come into the country in a manner that appears to be, for all intents and purposes, illegal.
Yeah, so speaking there about the repatriation centers and why those are important to have in place. But in conclusion, speak to us about juxtaposing the immigration crisis or irregular migration situation that Zimbabwe is facing currently, and how do you compare that to, for instance, how South Africa is also dealing with a high number of Zimbabweans that are currently in the country undocumented?
Right. It appears both our countries have immigration problems. So Zimbabwe usually serves as a transit point for immigrants from all over. Like in this case, we have the highest number of these 66 that we have. That 16 are from Burundi, 12 are from Ethiopia, and then 8 are from Malawi, and South Africa is next with 7. And then there's 1 from Libya, 1 Mozambique, 1 from China, 1 from Pakistan, 1 from Taiwan, and 1 from France, and 1 from the United Kingdom, and 1 from Cape Verde. So most of these are from Africa, and South Africa and Zimbabwe are countries that that are also experiencing migration issues. But what is interesting is that these ones are from South Africa. There's usually an assumption that that in fact that's the usual trend maybe. But human beings migrate for various reasons, and I happen to be, as the chair of the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission, a member of the migration working group of the Network of African National Human Rights Institutions. We have a working group that we have established in order to ensure that migration in the continent is humane and that it is human rights based. So we need to all work together to ensure that human beings continue to experience their dignity, because people have the right to freedom of movement. But because migration is what human beings do from before history, but we need to make sure that it's handled in a manner that doesn't criminalize people necessarily. In fact, doesn't criminalize them, but also gives them the opportunity to enjoy their dignity, the ones in the host country, but also so that people living in the host country do not feel that are not pressured to think that immigrants must be kicked out, but that there should be dignity and rights for those in the host country from immigration, and also those that are migrating. I'm sure we can do better as Africa through the through our protocols, so that we do not, because a lot of these actually these borders are from colonialism, and Africa has this common problem, but the dignity, the equality, and the freedom of human beings is what should be always realized. So we need to work better together to ensure that the positives of migration are extracted for Africa. Even also as Africans also go to other continents, a lot of migration happens in Africa, and we need to do better. And in the Zimbabwean case, we need to change. Need to change the law so that immigrants are not detained in places like this. And then we need to work against xenophobia anyway in Africa, so that the dignity of all Africans is experienced whatever place they move, and that they also move lawfully, and our laws also ensure that it's for the better, for the good of those in the host country, equally with those that are migrating. It can be a win-win for all. Let's work towards this from a human rights perspective.
Jessie, thank you so much for making time for us. Jessie Majomo is the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission. So
if you watched up to here, I'd like to say enkosi for watching my videos. I really appreciate that. And whatever your views are, kindly share them in the comment section. Yo, guys. Anyway, guys, do have a beautiful day. And the next time you bump into my videos, kindly watch my ads in full. That support really goes a long way.